Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Moohead Radio, Cleveland Browns halftime show with the score of the Browns 21 and the Bengals 13 and an offensive onslaught that nobody would have predicted except maybe the fans who realize that neither can play defense. Here's what I like, okay? I'm going to start on a positive note. Here's what I like about the Browns tonight. They have a plan. They're playing like Stefanski coaches, all right? Balance between the pass and the run. The efficiency is really good. The patterns are crisp. They're getting Baker Mayfield outside of the pocket. Instead of this stick a short guy right in the pocket, they're using play action successfully to get him outside the pocket. That's how we wind up with the touchdown pass to Odell Beckham Jr. You know, it's simple stuff that didn't happen a couple of days ago. And it's the thing that kind of made me wonder, like, what in the fuck? Why aren't we doing the things that we're supposed to be able to do well? We're running the football with both running backs. And I can, I'll tell you this, the offensive line is performing. I didn't think that the offensive line was terrible last week. I think everything else was terrible. But I think that the offensive line has probably shown the most discipline that they've shown in recent times. And I'm not hearing Jedrick Will's name being called out. And I'm not saying that Cincinnati's a great football team. Here's what I don't like, and I like Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is going with his instincts. He's throwing to his targets. He's really throwing through his shoulder and through his body. He's not hesitant. He's not double clutching. He's going with his first instinct. I like that. What I don't like is anybody named Takitaki. He's horrible. I mean, I'm watching this guy try to play, and it's awful. The whole defense is an absolute sham. And I don't understand, first of all, Olivier Vernon's injured again. So, I mean, why do we keep re-signing people who get injured? Second of all, Myles Garrett is overrated because he's not beating anybody on the Cincinnati line whatsoever. That's two. Three, the defensive secondary is porous as hell, and guys are wide open, and the middle of the field is wide open, making for a rookie quarterback look good because the Browns defense has no identity. They came out in the opening drive of the game and established what they wanted to do, and our defense didn't take anything away. We're not blitzing a young quarterback at all. All we're doing is we're letting him stand in the pocket, go to his primary receiver, and complete the ball virtually every time he throws it. And that can't be the way it is. All right. And I understand you're saying, Myles is being doubled every play. The whole defensive line, Ogunjobi, Sheldon Richardson's the only guy who's played tonight. He's the only guy. And our linebackers are just horrific. And Takitaki, I don't know what he's doing. And if you take a look at the touchdown pass, what kind of coverage was that? That a tight end just blows by a guy? And I'm not even sure who in the hell that was, but he just let the guy trot right past him and wasn't even putting out. I have a problem with it. This is not a hard-hitting defense. Even if they weren't that good, if they were slow, if they were pounding people, that would be one thing, but they don't tackle well either, it's and this is what I saw too. A very good point. Thanks. I like being on Twitch too. Myles appeared winded on the field. That's absolutely, and yes, they did throw a blitz on him in the last drive. But the fact of the matter is they're making a young quarterback very confident out there, and there are going to be adjustments made at halftime. And, the problem is you can't hide a lack of skill and a lack of speed. The Browns look slow, a beat slow on defense, just like they did against the Ravens. This is a problem. And the reason that Burrow gets the ball away and fast is because those little dog shit dink and dunk passes that we keep giving up and missing tackles on and turning 3-yard gains into 7-yard gains allows him to continue doing that. Bad tackling and separation in the secondary. If we were able to force this guy into anything long, we might at least have a chance to make a dumb luck turnover on a tipped pass. But as of now, no end in sight. Baker's going to have to score the football damn near every time he gets his hands on it, and that puts a lot of pressure on the Cleveland Browns. Another thing I can tell you that I didn't like is that Parkey cannot kick the ball consistently through the end zone. Their kicker is kicking it right over Natson's head and forget it. One time that Parkey kicked it out of the end zone. The other times resulted in big returns out past the 40-yard line. And you can't give the rookie quarterback that much field position. That becomes a problem. So right off the bat, the whole defensive side of the ball, with the exception of Denzel Ward trying to go one-on-one with A.J. Green, that's a tough cover. He's working hard. Sendejo doesn't know where in the hell he's at, and it's obvious looking at these guys that they're just not very good players. And as far as Greedy Williams is concerned, bye-bye. I mean, every little nick and scratch takes him weeks and weeks to heal from. He's brittle, and he's never going to play at this level. And I'll tell you one other thing about Greedy Williams. The rap on him in college is that he didn't like to tackle. He liked to get the turnover, but he didn't like to tackle. Now we find out why. When he has to tackle, he's hurt all the time. And that is really bad. Brian, the kick punt defense is horrific because we're kicking the ball right to the goal line, and there should never be that. In the NFL, you should be consistently kicking it over the guy's head. And as far as the punt is concerned, 42-yard punt from Gillen, the only punt of the game. So, I mean, no, that's on the kicker. And kicking is going to be an ongoing problem. I can see that. That this is the case, Rick. The offense is going to be called upon to continue to be productive and you can't just run clock down. The fact of the matter is they're going to score when they get their hands on the ball. The defense shows no penchant toward doing anything but bend and break at the same time. It's a problem. And this is obvious to everyone watching that Myles Garrett is not in physical condition. And if he's not in physical condition, somebody else should be in the game who can give full effort because they called that one timeout because he was just on a knee, basically. He's beat. And that tells me that he didn't come into this season seriously. And Brian is saying that it was Ronnie Harrison who was coming from the middle of the field to try to get to the tight end. Well, to expect him to get there is ridiculous. The guy ran a straight flag pattern, and the guy who was covering him, he just stopped running. It wasn't like he thought the ball was going somewhere else. He was lazy. Instead of staying with the receiver and letting the safety come over, he just stopped running. I don't know who the hell that was. And somebody look that play up for me because that guy would get a seat on the bench as far as I'm concerned. And this is also true. Taki is slow and he takes bad angles. He's not a professional linebacker. He ain't going to last in the league. I can tell you that. Taki is not making any friends in our chat room either. And that is the other thing right off the bat. I was going with Wable first. The referees, how they could have called that first play a catch. And I knew we were going to be in for something. If this is a close game, we're going to get fucked. I'm telling you that right now. Very strange. And it was just like the other one that they called where they brought in their expert guy who's the officiating guy. And even Aikman was saying, wow, looks like we got a company guy over there. I mean, what kind of shit is that? Burrow is good, Wable. He's good when you let him stand in the pocket up tall and throw to his primary receiver. We have not forced him to look off his primary. And until I see that from a young quarterback, I'm not going to pass judgment one way or the other. When pressure was coming from Sheldon Richardson, he got sacked at an open field on a naked boot. I want to see him be able to create on the move. And so far, he hasn't had to do that, which is great for him, great for the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. It's going to be a long season for the Browns. They're not going to be able to outscore people if this is the way the defense plays. Let's see what else we have here. It's not Parkey's fault that he has no leg. Okay. He has no leg. And he doesn't have the balls to make last-minute kicks either. The fact of the matter is he's a second-rate kicker. And there's no reason for this. There's no reason for year after year since Dawson that we should have these second-rate kickers in our camp and bringing this guy back a second time. And I remembered, oh, yeah, this is the guy who can't consistently get the ball over the returner's head in the end zone. You're going to give away stuff. And also, yeah, I would say that the special teams has looked bad on 2 plays, but, Cincinnati special teams didn't have to play, did they? Because the ball was out of the end zone. Hello. You do what you have to do. And by the way the game's played now, these days, you got to have a stronger leg than that to make it in the NFL. Let's see what else. Look, there are going to be people who say what they say, but I don't pay attention because you know why? Hey, I'm doing this for fun. Mitchell was the guy who stopped on the TD pass, and, he was the one who they were trying to beat, and he was one-on-one with A.J. Green, and thank God the ball was underthrown. That's what I would probably say about that. And again, the linebackers, can you name who they are besides Taki? I mean, I don't even know who these fellas are out there. We've got a really weak linebacking crew. And, and that's right. No pass interference against Beckham. Right in front of, pulling a guy's jersey. Yeah, we can see where this is going. We've got to get a bigger lead. We're going to need a bigger boat. That's the reality. And that's putting a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield, who's played as well as we've seen him play in some time. He's playing in a scheme and a system, and the plays that are being called are taking advantage of his ability to use play action, and we're using our running backs as well. This is interesting. I'm less impressed by the Ravens' performance, given how easy it is to move on the Browns. Fair enough question. The positives, let's pause and appreciate this lead. It might be over soon. The things that are positive, like I told you, we're playing Kevin Stefanski football. We are, the quarterback is throwing 16 passes? Is that how many he threw? Or 14 passes in the first half? And we're running the football effectively. And there's a definitive open man on the first reads, which we didn't see at all against the Ravens. And Baker, on the roll to his left, throwing across his body through the touchdown pass to OBJ. He's thrown a couple of balls to OBJ and caught them. The thing to be positive about is that the offensive line is protecting Baker Mayfield. And I think that there were a lot of questions going into the season, most notably about our offensive line, just because of injuries and the question marks about rookies and all of that stuff. But I'd say that we've done a very good job of blocking for the run and blocking for Baker. And I'm very thrilled that we're utilizing play action instead of just having him drop back into the gun and stand in the pocket. That is not Baker Mayfield's strength. He's short. He's not going to see over people. And you've got to get him out onto the flats to see the field and trust the play call, trust the receivers, and where people are supposed to be on the field. And tonight, they're where they're supposed to be. Those are the positives. And this is true. Burrow is going to be more of a pocket guy once he takes a good whack to his legs. He's going to learn that he's got to stay in the pocket. But that is, they're calling a smart game. Zach Taylor's calling a smart game for the Bengals, basically. This is drop back and look and throw. This is, not trying to get big chunk plays, except occasionally taking a shot down the field. Chubb always runs hard, so at least we have a system. And I agree. The one pass that he made and sandwiched between two defenders in the last drive was tremendous. I think the kid's got a good arm. I think that he also has a good head. It's just going to be a matter of whether playing for a team like the Bengals, whether it's going to wear him down as the season progresses, as teams watch what the tendencies are of their offense. Are they going to be able to continue doing what they're doing, or are they going to have that taken away and force him into throwing the ball further downfield? The one thing I'd say is that the Bengals are not using their running game as much as usual. Mixon has not been as much of a factor as he normally would be, maybe will be in the second half. I don't want to talk too soon. And the play calling looks solid. Those are all things that I can say are positives in all of this. I don't care who's involved as long as they're open and they're getting their hands on the ball. I mean, if Hooper doesn't catch that many passes or whatever, that's fine. Jankowski's in there blocking. He's doing what he's supposed to do, as a fullback. And you go to who's open, and the play calls are, they're calling plays for guys like Hodge, who, right now, it's like Baker's throwing fastballs. He's throwing seeds. I am not doing a post-game show tonight because it's going to be too damn late and I want to sleep. But we will be going over the whole entirety of the game on Moohead Radio Live tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So join me then. I'm going back to watch the second half of this game. Until tomorrow at 6 o'clock, hasta la vista, Pasture Heads, and go Browns. Let's try to pull this one out.